This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines training session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Tuesday, the 29th of December, 2020. I'm here for the next 60 minutes to answer your questions about the Clear Lines indicator running on the MedVed platform. This is a twice weekly training session every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern. It is geared for the subscribers of Clear Lines or for those that have interest in learning more about Clear Lines. If you have a question, you can send it in through the GoToMeeting chat box. If you need assistance or have questions outside of the session, you're welcome to email me, kip@equity-alerts.com. You can also call or text me. So today, I wanted to spend the session talking about a couple of indicators that I'm testing that I've added just to help us see trends. So the two, well, one of them we're already using. I'm just adding a second one, but the one indicator that I've added is a modified CCI. And then one second. The other one is an addition of a second HMA, whole moving average, in addition to the one that we already have. We use a 34 HMA. This is a secondary. So the CCI, if you go to your chart and then click under main and indicators, you'll find it on the lower section. It's one of the separate charts. So it's called CCI. If you want information on it, there it is. Commodity Channel Index, a cyclical oscillator developed by Donald Lambert in 1980. So you'll want to double click on the CCI to modify from the preset settings. The period is 9. And then under based on, I have high plus low plus close plus open divided by 4. Signal 2, but we're not using that. And then here's a real important, where it says weak or strong, you set that to 0. Set that to 0. Order filled. And then on the HMA, one second. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hold on. Okay. On the HMA, so we have one in there already. So you'll go to add edit indicators. You'll add a second HMA, which is up here, right here. So the first HMA that we already were using was a 34 period based on an EMA. Okay. And then the new one is an HMA 8 period based on an SMMA. Okay, so I have that on all my charts now. I have the same, I have the CCI and I have both of the HMAs on all my half minute, my 1 minute, my 2 minute, and my, what I now use is an 8 minute, which is the 8 or 10 minute, which is the intraday trend indicator. So the way I'm using this right now, and again, this is all stuff I'm trying and testing out to see how it works out, and actually worked really great earlier on Netflix. Um, and actually, let's do this. I'm going to turn off my auto scroll so I can. I just don't want my charts to scroll back when I look at this. So, oops, that's not the right one. Hold on. Oh, right here. That's the one. Okay. So, basically what I'm doing, and I'm going to blow up this half minute chart so you can see. You'll notice when, and I always start with the half and then I go to the 1, then I go to the 2, and then you'll notice when the clear lines crosses gives you a down arrow. So that's right here. Let me get a clear lines down arrow. And then when this goes below that, goes from basically green to red, you know you're in beginning a new down cycle. So you can see they almost line up. And then the smaller HMA is gonna, its price is gonna move under the 8 first. I think that's the 8 under there. Yeah. Price is gonna move underneath the 8 first, and then it's gonna fall underneath. Let me erase the drawings so you can see. So right here's where the 8, so the clear lines crossed. We went red on the CCI. We went underneath the 8 HMA, then it turns red, and then behind it, as the price drops, the 34, we break it, and the 34 goes red. So we're in pretty solid down move right through here. What this does is it paints a picture. It paints a picture, right? It helps you see when you're in trend or out of trend. So let's go to the 1 minute so you can see that. So here was that same level right in here. 1 minute gets a down arrow, goes into the red. You're in the down, right? What happens is you start with the half and then the 1 comes in and then the 2 behind it. And then you can look at an 8 or 10 minute time frame. And let's go to that to know if you're in an overall bigger downtrend. So the 8 minute, the 8 minute, you are already in a downtrend, right? Since basically 2 o'clock, it's been in a downtrend, right? That's when that went red. So let me go back to the 1 minute. Or we'll go to the half minute. So 2 o'clock, all the way back here. Right around 2 o'clock was when that 8 minute went into downtrend. So while you're in downtrend on the bigger time frame, you're looking for to catch these moves. So let it bounce back up and then catch the next downtrend. Let it bounce back up, catch the next downtrend. Let it bounce back up, catch the next downtrend. So you're riding the trend of the bigger time frame. So for the morning, most of the morning, Netflix was green, right? See all that? Up until about 12:30. So in the morning, let's go back. You're doing the opposite. You're catching the uptrends. Catch the uptrend. Let it pull back, catch the up. Pull back, catch the up. Pull back, catch the up. You're trying to latch onto one of these bigger moves. That actually was a pretty big move. That was from 522, 23 to 520, 26 up here, 528. So you're 529. You're trying to catch in the whatever the bigger time frame is, the 8 or 10 minute. You're trying to catch that trend. Hold on, I got a question. What if you want to catch uptrends and go long? Yeah, that's what I'm pointing out right now. Yeah. So again, you look at your bigger time frame to see the trend, and then you ride the uptrends. So let's pick a different stock. Let's go to AMD. Everybody loves AMD, right? So here I can just go. So AMD, most of the morning, let me bring this over. Most of the morning, with the exception of we'll call it after 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock until almost 1, it was red. And then it went to green or just around 1 o'clock, just before 1. So through here, you're looking for shorts. Through here, you're looking for longs. So now we should be looking for longs, right? So let's go back to AMD. So after a pullback, we look for the long right here. After a pullback, we're looking for a long. Order filled. We're looking for a long right now. Right? So here we go. Let's watch. Let's see if we get a long entry. Starting to curve up. We got an up arrow. We're just moving into the green. Here. All right. We're getting close. Let's see what is the, yep, 1 minute's, it's close. Just trying. 1 minute was already trend. We're a little late in the move. You know, this started way back down at, but that's not that far away. Actually, the 2 is still in the green right now also. So 2 is still in trend. So 8 is in trend, 2 is in trend, 1 is technically still in trend. So we're just looking for a re-entry. Same with Apple. Well, Apple's just about to shift back into trend. It's been in down most of the afternoon. So it's real close to shifting back to uptrend on the 8. So we had our first cycle. Now we're waiting for our second, little pullback and then the next cycle up. All right, there we go. So here, let's do real small. All right. Let's see what happens here. But you see, what ends up happening is you see pretty clearly when you're in trend and you're not in trend. So right now we're technically still in trend on the 1 minute, the 2 minute, and the 8 minute. We just lost the half. The half's going to go back and forth. Here goes Apple. Hold on. Apple's trying to bust a move. Apple just ripped. I'm kind of late here on Apple, unfortunately. But we're in trend on half, 1, and 2. We're almost in trend on the 8. Here, see again. Here's the 8. So we're just starting to come out of down into up. We've already got an up arrow. Now this could undo itself because it's not completed yet, but we are. All right, there goes AMD. Apple's trying to bust a move. What it also lets you know is if you're entering in your counter trend, you have to have a really tight stop. If you're going against the flow, you can't give it much wiggle room. So we're right now on the 1 minute on Apple. We are above both HMAs. They're both green. See, we're clearly in an uptrend right now, and down here, all green. And you got clear lines pointing up. That's clear uptrend right now. There goes AMD continuing to move. Same thing on AMD on the 1 minute, right? You're above the HMA right here. You're right. That's the 34. let's see, there's the 8. So you're just above the 8. We were probably a little long in the tooth on Apple, and Apple wasn't committed yet on the 8. So notice that AMD is running a little stronger than Apple. Order filled. On the 8 HMA, what is it based upon? The 8 uses the SMMA, 8 SMMA. The 34 is an EMA. Oops. 34 EMA, 8 SMMA. So I knew going into this trade, I knew which one had a higher risk factor, right? Apple had the higher risk factor because the 8 had not gone into the green yet, compared to AMD, which was already in the green. See? So AMD was already in trend on the 8. We were transitioning on Apple. Weren't quite there yet. But let's see how let's see how these play out, you know. Do you prefer the 8-minute best over the 5 or first thing? You know, I haven't really considered it. So, you know, I want you guys to try things and test and give your opinion. If you think there's another better time frame, 5-minute, then you know, we can try. Let's look at the 5. You know, 5 is pretty solid. 10 is pretty solid. You know, we used to use 8 because it was a Fibonacci number. But on AMD, hold on. I mean, on Apple, let's compare. So let's look at 5-minute. So Apple moved in already on the 5, not on the 10, obviously not on the 8. So I think the 8 or the 10, you know, by the time it gets into that trend, you know you're in a pretty good trend at that point. The 5, I think, is too close to giving you a fake out. You know, it can be in the green and then roll back down. The 8 tends to be a little, I think, a little bit better. It's a stronger confirmation. But like I said, you know, everybody's trade style is a little different. So I want you guys, I want your opinions and you test. So like Apple, I should be out, right? I mean, there's no question. We've reversed red, in the 2 minutes about to go red. I mean, you see the picture real clear, right? It's time to bail out. I mean, I know that's not, and we've moved underneath both HMAs on the half minute. We've moved under on the 1 minute under the 34. We moved under both of them, right? So that one didn't work. But AMD is still working. Again, because we were in trend on the 8 and it stayed strong on the 1 and the 2. We haven't weakened on the 1 or the 2. Here, see? We're staying strong on this one. We're still strong here. If anything, we're gaining strength. And then, hold on, let's go to the 8. The 8 is still maintaining strength. The clear lines are pointing up. The HMAs are pointing up. All right, so let's take profit here just to lock in, and then we'll look for something else. All right. Let's find something else that's already in trend on the 8 that might be a better suited. Actually, what we should have done is when this crossed back underneath, we should have turned around and shorted it. That's what we should have done. Because we were still red on the 8. But I wasn't thinking of that at the time. And you end up seeing it if you're too late, like Facebook, we're way too late. I mean, it's been going down for a while. So you also clearly see when the trend is, when you're long in the tooth. All right, so here's one that's just rolling over, but this is counter trend because the 8 is pointing up. Okay, here, let me show you. 8 is green and pointing up. If you go counter trend, oh no, it's probably going to turn around and come back up. I call this the high risk trades. High risk, but has a higher reward potential. Nope. See what happened? See how quick that turned around? That's why you don't want to short into a really strong 8, right? That's a really strong. You don't want to short into a really strong 8 because it's just going to turn and rip. So we don't want to do that. Let's look at Netflix. No, let's look at Nvidia. No, really strong 8 on Nvidia. We don't want to short into that. And look how it's just been running. I'm a visual person, so this makes it real easy to see the way I had CCI set up. Um, let's see. Adobe is an uptrend on 8. Akamai is up on 8. AMAT is up. We already traded AMD. AMD is still going too, by the way. Activision is up on the 8. Boeing is. So here's an interesting one. It's up on the 8, but it's rolling over. See how this is starting to curve down now? So we're weakening on the 8, and the 8 clear lines are starting to cross. So as this begins to weaken, those are the ones you can short into and probably feel a little more confident. It's not quite there yet, but No, you got to still wait for your other minutes. So let's move BA down here. We'll keep an eye on it. By the way, did you see what AMD just did? It just reversed right off of S1 right there, S1, S1. That's why we use, and look what was right up underneath that, above that was the VWAP. So that's why we use those pivots. Those give us the targets. So we actually exited pretty close to the target. All right, BA is breaking out. All right, so Baidu's another one that's starting to show weakness on the 8, right? Starting to come down a little bit. You got convergence. So we're starting to see a little weakness, but we're not ready yet. And then BA is starting to bounce on the 8 minute, so we're getting renewed strength. I used to love that 8 minute back in the old days. 8 or 10 I think are just good lights time frames for seeing intra-day trend. So Baidu, we're coming right up to VWAP. So maybe at VWAP we roll over. We're showing now the 8's trying to bounce. You definitely have to be patient. All right, so BA is starting to roll over again. Still green on the half, the 1 and the 2, still green on the 8. All right, we just reversed off a fib pivot on Boeing. I wonder if we have a first 15-minute fib level. Yep, look at that right there. First 15-minute fib level. Right at the 127 of the first 15 minutes. So we have a fib pivot and the 127 in the first 15 minutes. I would still call it a high risk, but where's your stop? Right above here. Let's just get ready. I'm just going to stage for now. We'll stage Baidu as well. Get our orders ready. That 1 minute's about to cross down under to red. We got a down arrow, but now we got an up arrow on BA on the half. Don't have anything on the Baidu yet. Back to an up arrow. Got a down arrow on the 1, so a little mix on the signals. Both of them are still showing a little weakness on the 8. They're both at good spots for risk to reward because we know where our stops go. I want to see if the 1 minute moves into the red. So Baidu is actually breaking VWAP. All right, here we go. I think this is our spot for BA. I'm going to try BA here. All right, just moved under into red on the 1 minute, half minute's pointing straight down. Um, 2-minute just moved into the red zone. 8-minute is showing lots of weakness now. 8-minute just crossed over to red, but is still green, but the clear lines have crossed. So we're definitely seeing weakness now. Baidu's a no-go. We don't mess with Baidu. I mean, unless you play the breakout. So stop on this would go just above, probably just above 217. Gives you a little wiggle room off of this fib. Baidu's breaking out now. Boeing came down and hit. It hit right here on the DMC with the 14140 just below and bounced off of those two. This is a 34. I just put that in. That's from, who was it that uses that? Fret? Fret uses a 34 EMA on a 1 minute. And that kind of comes down and bounced off that. All right, we're catching another rollback down on BA. Also, the 8-minute, again, let's go back to the 8-minute. Now we have our narrow down. You can see the weakness in the CCI. It's starting to drift lower. Let's look at the 2-minute. 2-minute has the down arrow. We went into the red. We're underneath the 8 HMA. We're right on the 34. I'd feel a lot better if that 8-minute rolled into the red. We're going to have to drop probably 50 cents before that happens. That's my guess. Let's see, where was it when it went red earlier? Yeah, it might take a little more than that. But, it helps you really clear. I think you see the picture a little more clearly if you're fighting a trend or not fighting a trend. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to pick the best possible trades and the ones that we feel are going to give us the best profits. And I think when you're going with the flow, end up being the better trades. When you're going against the flow, they're much tougher. You have to be willing to get out real quick if you're going counter against the flow. And this helps you see that very clearly. All right, starting to pick up a little momentum here on Boeing to the downside. So the half minutes rolled back down, the 1 minute's rolling back down, the 2 minutes in the red. The 8's still coming down. Still got our down arrow. It's still drifting a little lower. So you cannot put a half minute up here. You just have to put custom frequency and then change it in that. You can't do a half. I can ask the medbed guys if they can put a half in, but what I would do is just you just have to use custom. I had them give us the 2 minute. It didn't have the 2 minute before. I right for now, this layout, I just have a layout that always has a half minute and I don't change. Half 1 to 8 is this layout. So I used to show a half and then I would switch to a 1 and then this would be a 3 minute and then I had a 2 minute and then a 10 minute. It's kind of a little backwards. But now I'm going half 1 to 8. So again, so we kind of have to look at where things are moving to. Look what just happened. We double bottomed right here. Boom, boom, right at the DMC. See that? Bounced twice off of that. So that's proving to be pretty big support right now. I couldn't even, it happened so fast, I couldn't even respond. I was sitting here, I saw it jumped so quick. But you can see, I mean, it literally just jumped when it hit this, it just jumped 30 cents, 40 cents. When they see, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. So you have to kind of watch for that stuff. We can grab a small profit now. It's not big, but it's going to bounce again. Come on. This bid and ask is like all over the place. Now it's jumping again. Yeah, dang it. I swear, they play with the bid and ask so much. I hate when you can't respond quick enough. That the move, it's all computer. It's not even humanly possible because it jumps so quick. Same way to add the 8 minute, you just go to custom frequency. So go to your main frequency and then custom and then type 8 in there. Or if you have custom on your quick access toolbar like I put here, you can do it from there. Most of y'all should have that on your, if I built your layout, you should have that. If you want to add it, you can just go to main, put your mouse under, or go down to custom frequency, right click, and then go to add quick access toolbar. Add to quick access toolbar. to put it on there. Look at that, right back down. They're going to retest again. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to jump out, and then guess what's going to happen? It's going to come and break this stupid thing, because that's what happens to me. All right, so out with a little profit. That was just moving around too much. Let's see if we, I mean, it's a little late in the day to try to initiate anything, but let's see if we can find any others that kind of give us a picture. Beyond is down on the 8, so we should be looking for shorts. Disney is in the green on the 8, so we should be looking for longs. Play the EPs. DraftKings is green on the 8, so we should be looking for longs. Enphase is green, but it's weak green. Etsy is green. Should be looking for longs. Moderna is currently green, but it's been back and forth both ways today. Micron's weakening green. Here, let's just do this so you can see. I like to do this just with clear lines, nothing else. I mean, I have the HMAs on here too, but I like this to be kind of the pure. All right, let's look. NVAX. Oh, NVAX, we're in the, so it just rolled down into red on up here. So we should be looking short. So it was in a pretty good uptrend most of the day, and it just rolled into the red. Pen back, look at that, back and forth. That you want to avoid is the back and forth. That's the ones that just chop you out. Let me look at shop. We should be long. So like, here's a good example. All right, so we were down most of the day. We got our first up, pull back, and then when that starts to cycle back up on the 8, so 1429, right in here. See that? 1430. We catch the next wave back up. When you want to see how many waves you're in, right? When you can see, third or fourth wave, you're probably getting a little thin, but that was good. That second wave up on the 8, that gave a good run. That went from, we'll call 1159 to 1167. That's not a bad move. Peloton. Again, back and forth. See all the back and forth action most of the day. Back and forth, back and forth. You get a down cycle and an up cycle, a down cycle and an up cycle, a down cycle and an up cycle, a down cycle, right? It's not building a trend either way. It's just chopping around. PayPal, same thing. Down cycle, up cycle, down cycle, up cycle, down cycle. you start to see, here you go, Qualcomm. So the morning was a little, down, then up, down, and then you got an up, and then you got a bounce, and you got another bounce, right? Second cycle up, you can catch the second or beginning of the third cycle. Those are the good spots to be. RCL. Look at RCL. Mainly down, but so not much in the uptrend cycle. So you look for the down, try to catch a down cycle. But that was pretty weak most of the day. So let's look at Roku. So Roku all morning was in a short cycle. And then midday, it goes to long cycle, a little pullback, and then gives you another long cycle. So somewhere through here, 1428. So let's go back. That's right here, right in here. You would have got stuck in some chop and then it broke out, right? Right in here. Boom. Actually, I'm going to show you a different layout. Hold on. I created this other layout. Makes it real easy. Magic 2. So this one, you just watch all four on one screen. Half, 1, 2, 8. So now you can see them all together. I should have just gone to this. Right? So here's our 8, moves into uptrend, and then boom, catch the up. Let's look at Starbucks. So Starbucks has been, again, kind of back and forth. We looked at shop. Down in the morning, up in the afternoon. Catch the afternoon ups. Square. Same thing, down in the morning. Now midday, start looking for the ups. Ride the afternoon up, right in here. Right in here. Right? Right in here. That up right through here. Is it making sense? Um, let's look, STX. STX most of the day, look at that, down. So we look for the shorts. Stayed red most of the day. Skyworks. More down than up, so look for shorts. Started getting a little up cycle on target in the afternoon. TNA down most of the day. Twilio. Pretty heavy down all morning. So you look for the shorts in the morning. Right here. There was a great short. Boom. Just as it went into the red. And then this afternoon, the last hour of the day, when we moved into green, UPS is here, right? Then you're looking for the longs. Catch one of those long moves. Oh, let me look at Twitter. Twitter is back and forth all day long. Back and forth all day long. See that? So no trend, just kept going back and forth, up and then down, and then up and then down, and then you see that, it's probably not a good one. And you might have to, you might have to go back and, I mean, kind of each day stands on its own, but the morning was down, or this is WDC, down in the morning, right? So it stayed red, you look for the shorts. Walmart, mostly short, when back and forth, short then long, then short then long. ZM, right long at the open, but then went red most of the morning, and then midday starts cycling back into the green and stays green till just a little while ago. So you're catching earlier, you're catching one of these long moves. Any questions about this? Does it make sense? Do you think it can help you see kind of more clearly whether you're in trend or out of trend? So if you have questions offline, you're welcome to email me, kip@equity-alerts.com, or text me on my cell phone, and be happy to talk and answer any questions. If you need any help with getting it set up, let me know. I can help you with that as well. I can help you build a layout, whatever you need. So I want to thank you guys for watching today. I'll be will not be doing. I'm not going to do a session on Thursday this week because of New Year's. So, but I will see hopefully most of you guys in the morning. Have a great afternoon. I thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you all later. Good night.